Apologetics. The Bible's core message. The Bible is a collection of 66 books, divided into 2 volumes, the Old Testament (OT) and the New Testament (NT). The first volume, the OT, contains 39 books, while the second volume, the NT, contains 27 books. The scholars agree that there are probably about 40 different authors of these 66 books. These 40 different authors wrote the text of the Bible, directly inspired by God. The OT is the Jewish Bible, and they call it the Tanakh. It tells us about the creation, the pact, the law, and the prophecy of the coming of the Messiah and much more. Although, the Christians are not supposed to live by the OT. However, there are 3 key elements of the OT we should focus on while reading the NT. The pact, the law, and the prophecy of the coming of the Messiah, Jesus. Since Jesus, as the Messiah in the NT, shows us how he fulfilled the law of the OT in post-fulfillment, he provided us with a new pact, and thus became the way into God's new kingdom. Therefore, the Bible's purpose is to spread Jesus' core message into the world. Slavery in the Bible. Jesus is the highest authority in the Bible, and he never condoned slavery. Mostly when he talked about slaves, they were included in his parables. The parable about Lazarus and the rich man, Luke 16 verse 19 to 31, sums up exactly what he meant about how one should treat others. The 2 greatest commandments of the Bible also illustrate the same idea. Matthew 22 verse 36 to 40. The slave owners of this world don't have the faintest idea of what's awaiting them in their afterlife. So, they should read the parable about Lazarus and the rich man, because as slave owners they are the rich man in that story, and he faced no blissful ending. Paul is the one that brought the Bible out into the world. For the other passages about slavery in the NT, you must read them in the context of the time they were written. Back then slavery was ubiquitous, and to get the message of Jesus and the Bible across, they had to adapt to the times. It couldn't be too radical and demand too much of the people, otherwise it would not have spread out worldwide. The NT didn't really condone slavery. But regrettably, it didn't speak harshly out against it either. Other instances of how it adapted include Paul stating that the people did not have to be circumcised to be Christians. In other words, one must see the Bible in the context of the time it was written. For the message to be widely broadcast, it had to conform to the present time. Although, now that it has reached out to the whole world, the core message of the Bible is the one that really counts and should be our primary focus. Thus, Jesus, the highest authority in the Bible, does not condone slavery, and it is his teachings one should live by. True Christians live following the teachings of Jesus. Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Matthew 7 verse 12. Note, as previously mentioned, we are all slaves in this world, and Jesus' teachings will save us and lead us out of the slavery of this world. Now see. The other 23 books in the NT, apart from the 4 Gospel books with Jesus, served the purpose of conveying Jesus' message to the world. So, if they are contradictory to Jesus' teachings, remember that Jesus' teachings always trumps, and they are always the ones you should follow. Additionally, the other teachings in the NT are teachings about conduct, and they provide a deeper understanding of Jesus' teachings from the scriptures. A good example of how to understand these teachings is as follows. Jesus spread his message out to the whole world through Paul, a man full of sin. This highlights that there is hope for everyone. As Paul said, "For I am the least of the apostles, that am not meet to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God." 1 Corinthians 15 verse 9. Conclusively, the Bible's core message is in the 4 Gospels, and its purpose is to spread this message to the world. The message of the Gospels is that Jesus is our way out of the bondage of this world. As one can see, it is difficult to spread a message to the whole world, and if it hadn't been done the way it was, it would probably never have reached the whole world. Moreover, this video's purpose is to help people understand the Bible's true purpose. Put me in your playlist. Share me, like me, subscribe to me, and watch my other videos if you haven't. And then tell your family and friends. Because this is the biggest event. And then push the bell button so you don't miss any new updates.